And I will give you control, Jerry. And you got the license to drive.
And now I do. Yep. Okay. So let me share. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Awesome. We will start talking a little bit today about designs. Okay. And whoa, we just went crazy. There we go. We talked about designs, and like David was saying, it's actually probably the most fun applet within the command system. It really is a great way for you to be able to uh, put a little individual spin on your marketing, while having the tools already there for you and a lot of the design stuff. Let me see. Raise your hands, and most of you are on camera. Christy and Tygo, if you want to turn your cameras on. Raise your hand. Have you jumped into designs at all and looked around and played at anything in there? Anybody?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
No,
awesome.
not yet.
Not yet. Okay, great. It. I really encourage you to get in there. I mean, obviously today's class we'll be able to see what it looks like, but after this, go in on your own and start playing around. You may find different ways to market yourself that you hadn't even thought of yet, because there's so many options and opportunities in there for you to be able to use it and utilize it. What you're going to see as we're starting to go through this is within designs, there are other platforms that people might be using that would also do a similar job. Okay, Canva, some of you may have used it. It does a lot of the same things. One of the big, very cool things that we will see a difference in is that we'll show you where it ties directly into our MLS. So your MLS, we can pull up, and it's actually the KWLS, so it can pull up from pretty much anywhere within KW territories, to be able to bring in the specifics of an actual listing. Just so you know that when you're in there, we're going to click through, you're going to see that it looks like it goes to a different site. The platform that we partner with is called WeBrand. And so that is where we would have our designs and where things will be built. So we'll show you the differences within there. When you're creating things, we have a bunch of different options that you can create. You can create, we'll go through a real quick video. That's a cool option to be able to use. It's different than most other agents that other companies are using. Your social options, print, obviously email, and then you can do imports, where I'll show you if I created something in Canva, I can import it directly and be able to use that within designs as well. Okay. There are different options within the printing. You've got cool things that are there right now. If you're new or newer, or even if you're not new and you just need a refresher in terms of your listing or buyer presentations, there are actual built presentations already in here that you can use. You can create, they're already created, but you can update them to yours and then be able to use them in presentations starting tomorrow. There's an agent branded magazine that we'll go through. You can create flyers, social media posts, and all different kinds of things right there. Let me switch my screen here real quick and jump into command. Okay, can you see my command screen? Awesome. So when we're in here, the first thing I would tell people to make sure that you've done as we're getting into designs and we're getting kind of deeper into command, and you probably went over this in one of the other classes already, but just as a refresher, you want to make sure that you have the difference between your profile and your marketing profile being set up. Okay, so as a refresher, or maybe it's new to some people, this first one that we go to here, when you're going over, when you click on it and you go to profile, this is the internal KW profile. This is what other people are going to see when they look you up within the KW platform, other agents around the country. If they're looking for a referral partner, excuse me, in your area, this is what they will see. So you might want to tailor this a little bit about what you do and how you do business so that other agents might like it. It's not the public facing. This is just internal. Okay. When you come down to settings, this is where we're going to show your public facing. Okay. Within the settings here, I want to make sure that you have under command. Oops, I always do that wrong. Under connect settings, you go to your marketing profile. Okay. Now in here, this is where it maybe you've already used Scott Leroy. We all have access to that, or I believe every office has access to that, so where they can update your stuff for you when you're first getting started. If not, you can come in here and put in all of your information, your bio, your credentials, phone number, your market center info. All this stuff is going to go toward your public facing, whether you're creating an email campaign, whether you're creating a Facebook paid ads campaign, you're creating regular social media posts that you'll download and post to your own pages. This is the stuff that's going to be tied directly to what the public is seeing. Okay. So make sure to get this updated and you save it down at the bottom. And then also make sure that this button right here is slid over and is turned green. So it might be on the left side and it'll be grayed out. Make sure to click on it and let it slide over to the right and it's green, so that it's branding your agent site. So that way what you've got on this page is now also branding to your KW site and your app. All your external platforms are being loaded with the same information, so that the public facing consumer can see exactly what you want them to see. Okay. So now when we jump in here, I'm going to go ahead and jump down here, and obviously we scroll down a ways, and this is designs. There's a bunch of different ways that you can that you can go about looking at your marketing. Okay. We can do social media posts and create them and put them out. You can actually make them here. You can also schedule them here. We'll show you that real quick as well toward the end if we have time. That's actually part of the campaigns area. There's the email that we can do. You can create the emails in here and then be able to send them out, print and video. Now, a lot of people, when you first get in here, you might think, oh, well, this is where I come to create it. If you're clicking on these, you may not have anything in yours right now. And that's because this isn't where you create them. This is where you have ones that are already created. Okay. So these are ones that I've created previously. And then, so I've got some cards here that I've created recently from social media. I've done some print ones and then some video ones. Okay. This is where your access or your log of different creations are stored. When you actually want to create one, you use the button down here. Okay, this teal button. Typically, there's either a teal create button up at the top, or there's one down here with this thumbnail that's down at the bottom. Okay, and that's where you're actually going to start the creation process. So now when you come in here, we've mentioned you can import text from listing and photos and everything. That's very useful when you get into the social, the print, and the email. Let's start though with this video. It's already on the video. I'm going to start right here real quick. These videos are going to be, it's not going to be one where you have to go make a video or you upload a video like you do to YouTube. Okay. These are kind of modules that are very well put together, and it'll be very similar for every one of them. But they're very useful as well because it gives you something that other people don't have. So you can put in search a neighborhood. I'm going to put Stony Run. Let's see if this pops up. Stony Run. It usually does. Stony Run Manor. There we go. So that's the one that I want. Now I gotta move my Zoom screens around. Sorry. Okay, now I hit next. Now what it's going to do is it's going to give me information, and I will be the one that needs to check on it. Okay. I may check in my MLS to make sure that it's correct. And if it is, then I can leave it. If it's not, then I can change it. If say my prices were holding steady, I could change that. I don't know where that is in the country right now, but it could be happening. But most of them are on the rise. Average price per square foot is actually on the rise as well. And this days on market is definitely not that. It's more like 11 in this neighborhood. And I know there's only one for sale. Okay. So but I can change that if I had looked it up and saw if it was different. I can also change 3 features that are in the neighborhood. Now this is tied to, I believe, Nextdoor, the Nextdoor app, where they've got some different things in here. I'm gonna actually take out student life, dog lovers is good, animal advocates is good. Now I'm gonna, look and see, is there something else that's in here that maybe makes sense. I'm gonna put friendly community. Okay. I think it's a nice neighborhood. It's my neighborhood, so hopefully they think I'm nice and friendly as well. But I do know a little bit about it, so I think these 3 are great. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go to check the agent information, and your agent information typically pulls through. Well, in this case, mine didn't. So I'm going to put 757-932-6978. So now I've got my phone number in there, and then my brokerage information. Okay. So now that's all been updated and put here. So now I've got all these things that come in the feed. I hit next, and now it's going to take a few seconds to generate. And then once it does, what it's going to do is it's creating a 1-minute video based on the information that we pulled in from the MLS, or that I took from the MLS myself and manually put in there. And it's going to create this video that we can then share. And I'm going to go ahead and play this so you can kind of see what it's going through. Can you see this video?
Yes.
Thank you. So you can kind of tell it's put in the information that I put in. So I can, price per square foot is on the rise. It would change it any way that I change it in there. Right now, we only have 1 for sale. It's going to do this for any neighborhood that you want to pick. And I think that's kind of fun, kind of cool that they have little themes about the neighborhood.
Yeah, no, this is pretty cool. Neat function.
Yeah, it's a nice little differentiator, because other people aren't going to necessarily have that, whether from other companies, and it could be that other agents within KW that aren't using it, or in a specific neighborhood like that. Okay, so when I'm done with that, I click back into my video. Now I had 3. Now I've got a 4th one, and it's here. I can download it if I want. So if I want to have this actual video and then I want to upload it to be able to use in Facebook or on my YouTube or wherever, I can do that. And then you can also use in campaigns. You can share it on social, rename it, and obviously delete it. So these are in my storage area for video. Okay. And that took, I started talking about it 5 minutes ago. We've already created it, and we've already reviewed it to see it. So it's obviously very simple. It's just a matter of knowing your numbers and knowing what neighborhood you're gonna pull in. Okay. So let's go ahead and jump into the ones that people are in the most probably. I'm going to start with social today. I'm going to mix it up a little bit instead of jumping into print. So social, I think, is where a lot of people start. So we're going to create social. Now you see how we talked a minute ago about the We Brand website. Well, this is where it jumps to. You're still part of the Command platform at this point, even though you're on another website. It's just interconnected. Okay. So when we X out of this, it's going to take us right back to where we were in the platform in Command. Okay. So now if this is the first time you're in here, you're seeing, a bunch of different things, potentially, in terms of the type of stuff that you have. Before you start, oohing and eyeing, because there's so many cool things in here to be able to play with, I would suggest that you click on brand assets. You've got 3 tabs up here. You come in on templates. I would say your first time, or maybe your first couple times that you're here, I would come in and start getting your assets in place. Okay. your assets are going to be useful as you're building out, whether it's social media or print, any of the different things that you can create in here, because you can set whatever your color palette is and whatever your fonts are. You can put in some logos, text, and images, things that you'll use over and over again. So that way it will actually have it there and ready to go, and you don't have to upload them every time. Okay. So let's say that you have a color palette that you want to use. Okay. You can come in here and click on the plus sign and, excuse me, say that, you know, red is my main one. And then I want some kind of a dark gray, and then, you know, a black, and then maybe a little bit off of white. Excuse me. So that could be my color palette, and I can rename it, you know, new red. So now when I come in to do things in print and I'm going through and I want to change the colors of different things that are already in place, I've already got the palettes together with the right colors. You can do the same thing with your fonts. So I've got 3 that are picked here. If you want to add some, you can click on the web fonts. And then once they load here in a second, then you can be able to go down and say, okay, I want Avenir, and maybe I want Bebas New, and maybe Roboto Mono. I don't even know what those look like, but let's see what they look like. So I'm going to add them. It's going to add them in here. And so it's got a fairly similar type scripts in here. And then you can always delete them right out, but now they're saved for me to have easy access to. Same thing goes with logos. So you're going to want to go ahead and get your logos together from your office. I know you can go to some offices are fully already logged in to, if I can move my Zoom stuff around, KW Connect. If you come into here and then you go under resources and down to marketing. So that was resource. I went kind of quick, resources, and then down to marketing. And then when you're in here, you've got some very cool things that you can do marketing wise that's already made and built for you here. The first thing is logos and branding. And so you can get the general KW logos. You can also find in some market centers, if you put your market center in, they might have their specific logos. If not, you can talk to your MCTT or your MCA to be able to get your market center specific logos as well, to be able to download them. If you really want to follow the rules and kind of go by the book, you can also download the identity guide and style guide and take a look at that. Okay. But get those together so that you can come in here, and all you do is just you can create new folders and separate what types of logos you have out. And then you also just do the upload and then go find it from your device and then put them in here. Now you've got yours in here. And I would strongly suggest, if you can, do people know the difference between PNG and JPEGs? Anybody tell me the difference?
No.
No, I can't tell you the difference.
Okay, that's great. Oh, David wants to talk. David knows. Nope, he's given up. Okay, so with a PNG, you're gonna have a cleared background. It's not gonna have the background to it, so that when you drop this over top of something else, it will fill in the color behind it. Okay, a JPEG will have either a color background of some sort, like this has got a black background, or if it doesn't have a background, it will just automatically default to white. Okay, so a JPEG will definitely, even though mine's named wrong, it will definitely have the background. Your PNGs will have it's compressed differently, and it will have the clear background. Yep, transparent. That's a good word that I was trying to think of a second ago. So putting in both, my point being, putting in both is very useful, so that you can be able to create things in different ways with the different logos. You can put in text. If you have some text that is used a lot, like your phone number, your website, your email, You know, you can put in a tagline if you use one. I had this one from years ago that I don't use, but you know, bio, address for the office, things like that. You can add in anything that you might create a post or a document with in the templates area of designs. If you're putting something regularly in that's text, I would put that in here so you've got it available. Same thing with pictures. Definitely put in your pictures that you're going to use, you know, over and over again. That I have a regular headshot. You can put in, you know, different types of headshots, things like that. And thanks, David, for dropping that in as far as the logos and the search and everything.
Yeah, two things on that page real quick. When you
Yep.
go to that page at the top of, you're gonna see what's called Identity and Style Guide. It's a little light ratings, about 33 pages. I do recommend that you all peruse through that, because by joining KW, right, you have KW regulations and you have your local board regulations when it comes to how to utilize branding and marketing in conjunction with yourself. And basically, by being with us, you're agreeing to a lot of this information. So to save you money on both how you create things and us telling you that you can't utilize them now, or two, in violations and fines from your local boards, I recommend you check these out. And before you go to create any signs or anything that costs you serious money, check with your broker if you get into any sort of custom creation, logo designs and things like that. Just a little disclosure, and we're recorded, so I'm safe.
Great. Yep. That's absolutely right. And it's one of those things when you first get started, you don't always know. So it's better to read up on it and maybe ask, you know, your MCA or somebody in your office in terms of the regulations regarding identity and stuff like that, as far as logos and those things go. And so also have images in here. You can put in anything that you might use a lot. Headshots are obviously something we all use regularly. If you have other images, this is where I would put it as well. You can put in elements, and if you have a video that you use, like maybe you have a small video that you tried to embed into PDFs, things like that. You can put stuff in here. I don't have any that I use very much, so mine are usually the top 4 things here. But I do recommend coming in here and making sure to have these updated, because it just makes it a little bit easier when you actually get into the templates. Okay. So now when you're in here in the templates, you have a lot of different templates to pick from. You can see that it tells you along the top here, like if you want something specific. So if I just want large postcards, I can click on that and it will sort out what large postcards are here. Okay. If I just want a social square, it'll divide out anything that's listed as social square. Now, underneath each of these on the left side, you might have different options. So your KW app, you have one for that. Now listings, you have a bunch of different types of things, you know, coming soon if that's available in your area. That's not available in every area. We don't have that down here in Hampton Roads. We do have, for, you know, obviously for sale, just listed, just sold. You can have a listing presentation. You can put that together. All different types of things here that you can find for listings. Same for buyers. You have neighborhood snaps, buyer presentation, Keller Mortgage, your lead generation, all different types of things in here. You have new holiday greetings. So, you know, if it was the beginning of the month and you said, you know what, I'm going to come in here and I'm going to make a pride for social use. I'm going to make you just click on the use button on whichever one you want, and it's going to open the editor. So you see how it changed to editor.webrand.com. It's still within the same area, but this is now an editing platform that you can come into, and you can be able to update to whatever you're looking to do with it. Okay. And it seems like it's still loading. There we go. My website's a little bit, or my internet's a little slow here at the office. So now when I've got this, I can do a couple different things if I want. I can, you know, change it to the way that I want it. First thing being, this is always going to have a KW logo, but it's going to be generic. You see the DBA name. What I would do is I'd click on it, and then I'm going to go over to my logos. And now I'm going to find one I'm going to use the white one. And again, my internet's a little bit slow, it seems, because it should go a little quicker than this. It will pop up here in a second where there's a little circular, like 2 arrows circular that you can click on. Okay. And it will replace that when it's when my internet's actually working, and it's not working today. So sometimes you have to, if your internet's not great, sometimes you have to go and change it. So I'm going to just go ahead and put this on here. And looks like I'm having a little bit of trouble, David. It's not working at all today.
Refresh and start out. Sometimes.
Yeah.
And Jerry, when you go back in, let's choose a social post, because a lot of the people on the call are new. And I actually got a question this week that I realized I had overlooked. So I got a little bit back, look at some things. I asked him about new agent templates for announcing their new to the business type of stuff. There isn't anything currently designed underneath business basics. However, with that being said, you can grab any one of these elements and modify them to say whatever you need, right? So if we go in here and we go into a business or into a leadership design, or any of the designs that you happen to like, right? You could take that and make that your announcement.
Exactly. I mean, just taking things and changing them around is definitely, a part of, so we're gonna do social square.
So if you actually would go to the leadership one, because there isn't anything in business basics is where they should be. And actually, because of the request, I actually went back to KWRI and said, hey, we're missing some new to the business type of templates for our new agents. But if you went to agent onboarding.
Onboarding, gotcha.
This is stuff that, now again, it's just something you could go to start. Now, these are things that your market center may create for you, but you could certainly take one of these or any of these designs and turn it into hey, I'm now licensed with KW, and here's my market center and my contact information, or whatever that looks like, right?
Exactly. So now thanks, David. I on this one, it's the same as the first one that we were doing before. All of them, when you get in here, it has the same applications to be able to update them. And like David was saying, make them your own. Okay. So you could change the logo here. If you've got a logo in here, I'm going to make it this one. You see how it's got the two arrows in a circle? It's a replace logo. So now I'm replacing it. I'm gonna make it just a little bit smaller. And now if you had a picture of you that fit this location, you can click on the picture. I don't. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually do this. I'm gonna go ahead and.
That works too though, right?
Well, no, that's way too big of my face. So we're gonna go ahead and drop it on here though. And we're gonna just delete that out. Now I'm gonna make it something like this. And then you've got your text and everything here. When you highlight the text or you click on the box, the text writer will come up. And I just joined Keller Williams. And now I'm going to also change I've got to move my Zoom stuff around.
You actually just can't see. Next to the TT is the white circle because you're in white text.
Yep, that's what I was trying to find was it. So now, there we go. So now I'm changing this to be something useful to me. And I got to put this on layer order, move it to the top. So that way I can see this because I've got a white background here. So I've got this, and then maybe I go ahead and change this to, here we go, hit this little typewriter button. And now, man, I got to move my Zoom stuff around. Okay, save changes.
I gotta get you another monitor, Jerry. You gotta
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm at the office. So send to top, and then I'm gonna center this. So now I've got something very generic that I've just turned around and made very specific to me, and have this as something that I can just download and save. You can obviously use a more similar to what's there look if you want, but you can easily change it to anything else as well. And you have in your text all the things that we talked about when you click on my assets. So if I wanted to, drop in my phone number on here, I can drop it, down here. I can add in my any of my other pieces that I want as well. You do have some, like Canva, you do have some banners that you can drop in as well, that you can alter to be useful, to change the look a little bit as well. So there's definitely some different fun things in there to spice it up. So that's one thing that you can be able to do. And just so that you don't ever forget, under File, make sure the autosave is on, especially if you're doing multi-page documents. I would come in at the end of each page, and we'll show you how to do multi-page in a second, but come in at the end of each page and hit save. If you're very specific on things and you want to show your rulers and grids, you can turn those on. You can, you have some other, specific things to be able to, from the print aspect, and then change your name to, breaking news. Or whatever you want to use. Then you also have the ability to download it. You can change it to a PDF, a JPEG, PNG, and it's two types of PDF, standard or printing. So you can download these, and when you're done, it's going to save it. And as we talked about the beginning, it's still tied to the platform. It's right back in here. Now, when I'm in my social, my breaking news is going to be the very first one here that I just made. Okay. And that first one we started with was here as well. So it's automatically going to save them right into your areas. Let me jump in and show you on the print side.
Yeah, I don't want to overlook that you had a really nice matching pocket square in that jacket. Just saying.
Hey, there isn't much that I do right when I'm dressing up, but wearing that jacket is the right thing. So.
Accessorizing. I have a very similar blue on blue check. I liked it a lot. I don't pull the pocket square off. I'm more of a vest guy, but I might have to up my game a little bit.
Yeah, I'm too short for a vest. So, so now, like I'd mentioned before, you do have your buyer presentations. You also have this personally branded, digital e-zine. The setup is the same for all of them in terms of the way that you go about them. Let's go ahead and do a buyer presentation real quick. Now, if you're going to create these at home and make them on the fly, one thing I do tell people is to make sure to look at a few of these and see that it makes sense to you in terms of your printer, as far as the quality of the printer that you have, and thinking about the ink usage. So, doing a page that is all black might look great if you're doing digital, but think of the differences when you're going to actually print too, from a cost perspective. So if we're going to click on use, we're going to use this one right here to kind of get us started. So now in here, when you've got a page, this is your template side where you've got all these different pages they've already built for you. Okay. They're ready to go. But the thing that I tell everybody from the very beginning is they are ready to go, but they are not ready to send. And the difference is they're ready to go, meaning you can put them into your template or into your workboard, but they're not ready to send because you still have to update them. Okay. So this might be what your first page looks like, but you need to make sure that you're updating these with the right information. Okay. So maybe I want to, maybe I want to have it in here, and I'm going to replace text because I want it all that same. You can change it if you like it one way. If you don't want it that way, then maybe you just come in here and delete the last name. And then in here, you put your actual, oops, I hit the wrong one. There we go. Now I'm just going to delete tricky. And now it looks like how they have it set. And just space it out. Then I can go on to the next thing, and I want to replace my logo. So I'm going to replace my logo right there. I don't have a team, so I'm deleting that off. And then delete that off. Now this page is ready to go. So I'm in my templates. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add another page, because I've got my pages over here. And sometimes it does end up, the first page, it ends up as a blank on the front end, and then you can just come in and delete it. So that way you got this. Now I'm going to add a new page, and I'm going to drop in the information. And this page is, make sure to pay attention, because it says that you need to remove this. It's giving you the instructions of where you need to be looking for information. Okay, the information that you need to replace, they're helping you to tell you the things that you might need to look for. Okay, so this is not a page that you would print and leave in here. So we're just going to delete this out, and we're going to scroll down, and we're going to get our next page. And we're going to go ahead and apply this to the page. So now we've got this on the page. Now you can customize these things. Obviously, client name isn't going to work. So maybe it's Angela Tucker. And if it doesn't quite fit, then just click on it and stretch it out so it does. And then you change your things. Again, we click on the photo. Now, if I want to replace it with this, let's go this one, that one, it will automatically replace it in there. Okay. And again, the same thing. If we want to change the name, go to the typewriter. You can also change the colors. You can change the size, the fonts, everything about it. Okay. If you change the color, you can have your template colors. You got your library colors. Here's your main palette. Remember, we just added the new red palette. Well, now here's my new red. So if I want this last name to be red, I can just click on it, and now it's red. If I want it to be a specific color, I can always come down here and type in the number if I know it, or I can use this little eyedropper, and you can see up here, it changes, this will change right here when I'm hovering over. So if this is red, I want to match this red, I get it right on there, and I can put it on this one, match that red. Maybe I want it to be a brown, so now I make it brown. Okay, so now that's changed to brown. So you can change all the different pieces of the page, and then when you got it to the point that you like it, then you come to the next one and you add the next page. Now you've got 3 pages. Maybe you don't like this this page, so you get rid of it, and then just skip it and don't put it in. And so now this is going to be your page 3. And then you do the same thing. There are, as it said in the very beginning, there are things that you need to look through, and every one of these you should be reading on your own as you go through, just to make sure it fits you and fits what you want to send out to people. Okay. If you notice down here, I'm going to, zoom in a little bit on this one. You can see down here, this actually says how to head to app.kw.com XXX. This is your personalized app. So you can make it a link. You put in, you change this XXX to be whatever it is that your actual app is. And then if you're going to go, if you have that app, then you can always keep that highlighted, add link, put your app link in here and apply. And now people can click on this when you send them the PDF version. Okay. Then you go ahead and you can update whatever you want in here for all these things. You can make it so that that it's ready to go, and you can save it as again as your PDF. You can make it for printing. You can go through the order process on some specifics. David, do you know, I know there's updates all the time to this. Do you know what we can print right now directly from designs, like have the order printed? Is it flyers?
Yeah. Right now, you can only print single-sided documents or single-sided. You cannot do multi-page printing. So if you were going to do a buyer presentation per se, you would have to download that file and send it out to a print shop. Even though that says order
Okay.
print at the top, it's not going to allow you to do anything. If you were doing a flyer or if this was just front and back, it would work. Postcards will work. Business cards would work. Odd shaped things like door hangers or multi-page documents right now doesn't have that capability, but that is rapidly coming.
Gotcha. And that's the thing is there's always things that are moving pieces within this and that are new. We might have taught this a week ago and then come back in to teach it again and it's got something new. And so that evolution is great. And there's going to be more coming from it, but that's where we're at right now. So you can have this, and again, create a listing presentation, a buyer's presentation. Your easing it's awesome to be able to send that out. And have that as something that you can use as marketing to all of your database. Okay. So now let's show something. If you are in here, I didn't actually do it. I was going to click on the actual little button for the import listings, but if you don't, it's okay. We can still be able to pull things through. So let's say that you have a new listing that's hit and it's for sale. And let's say that we want to, let's say we want to go with this one. Okay. So we've got a new listing, just put it in this morning. Now we're ready to do some social for it. We come in here, we're going to change our logo real quick. So we got our logos. Go ahead and size that a little better. Now we got this. If we go to text, the text, there's nothing there right now. So let's do this. Let's go to our KWLS and let's look for our address. Okay. Now you notice that this is everywhere. There's Ohio, Mississippi, all over the place. So make sure you're picking the correct one. But I have a listing in Norfolk right now. So if I collect that and I select it, now it's importing from my listing all of the photos already, and it has listing details. So see how I click this information down here with the address? If I go here and I hit the replace button, it's now put in that address from my listing. Okay. And then if I want to change this, they actually, excuse me, are all broken. The numbers are here, but they're broken up. So I would actually probably go ahead and hit this typewriter and then change this to 1849, or change this to 260. It was built in 1955. Save changes. Now I've got that information. I'm going to click on the photo. I want to go back up here and I want to go to the photos, and now I'm going to replace that photo. Okay. So now in about, I don't know, was that 49 seconds roughly? I've created a social post that's a specific design that's got all my information that's for my new listing, and I can download that and then be able to save it and put it toward social media. I can email it out in a campaign. I can use it for an actual paid ad, anything that I want to use it for. And I can find consistency, because sometimes that's the one thing that will help people really know, instead of just keeping scrolling through when you're putting stuff online on social media. They want to see something. They need to see something that they recognize to get them to stop. And when they recognize you've been putting up posts and posts and posts that all have the same look to them, now they know, oh, this is something that I should be stopping for. Okay. And that literally, could take you 2 minutes to create that at any point. But the nice thing is having this KWLS tied in here, we don't have to then go search for photos. We don't have to go search for information. If you're doing, say you're doing an open house for another agent, you could do this as well. You could do this as an open house. And there are some made, but say you like this one best, you could come in and make this one as an open house, and then be able to use it for that, even though it's not your listing. Okay. And maybe I would change this to a different size so that we could make it fit a little better. So you've got something like that that you can be able to use, and it doesn't even have to be your listing that you're doing in here. Just make sure that you've talked to the listing agent to make sure they're okay with you publicizing it. So you've got a lot of different options on this as well. Okay. And then save. And then there was one other option, if you remember right, when we've come in here, we've gone through, actually there's two we can do real quick. The import PDF, if you're going through that option, when you come into WeBrand, say you've created something in Canva and you want to be able to use it within Command, okay? I created one the other day that was that's a postcard that I've got going out. So let me see if I can. I don't remember. If you let me find it real quick here. Oh, I don't have it actually. So if you have any PDF though, you can bring it in, and this is the one that I brought in, and that kicked me out. Wow, that was not the way to do that. Okay. Sorry about that. Sometimes we get kicked out, and now we're back in. Trying to show you this one that the PDF that and that's just not letting me show you the PDF. So you can pull in the PDF, and then when you have it, you can go ahead and change it. I changed the look of it a little bit so that we could go ahead and then use it in an email, because I wanted to be able to create an email that I can send out via campaigns. Okay, let me show you that. Click on email. Now, when you come in here to the email, you have 72 templates that are already here that you can choose from. Okay, so if you want to create something to send to your people, whether it's a luxury listing, if it's a luxury listing and it fits the criteria and you're able to use it, you can use some of these templates. Even if you're not a luxury agent, if that listing that you have fits it, then you'd be able to use that. Otherwise, if you want to use any of the other ones, you can create newsletters, hit next. You're able to come in here, and with this, it's already got the setup in place so that you can change and do whatever you want. Now you are, whatever you want to put for, if this is going to be a newsletter of some sort, or an update, I should say, then it could be, heading toward the weekend, and you can change the font, change the size, do everything you want to do with it. And you highlight it first. Change your text, put in a link if you want. You can add an image. So if I want to add an image, let's say I'm going to add one right here. Now I can come in and I can pick, if I'm putting in a listing, I can do that, and then be able to there we go. Now we got to replace the image here. Something seems off on this. David, are you seeing this?
Sorry, I was not focused on what were you
No,
trying
that's okay. I'm in I'm editing this image and I'm trying to replace it, and I'm coming in here and I'm clicking on an image that's already here.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. Okay. It was my Zoom was not, the Zoom was in the way.
Zoom
I couldn't see it was my problem. The Zoom was in the way and I couldn't see where it was. So now here I can change my size, obviously, and be able to, I think that's probably right. There we go. Add the photos in. Now, when you want to take a preview of this, it will actually show you what it's going to look like in the layout. And then you can save this once it's done, heading toward the weekend. I can write about home sales on the weekend or open houses this weekend, things like that. And then be able to have this email saved. And then I can be able to push it out to my whole database through the command emails that you have. And that's going to the campaigns class will show you everything that you can do around those. There's a bunch of different types. You can do new listings. You can do newsletters if you want to do a specific newsletter as well. Anything for open houses, pretty much anything that you want. I have a lot of friends who we stay in touch about fantasy football. So I will on occasion come in and drop in links and show and send them things to get their attention, because they don't always remember or care that I'm a realtor, even though I care so much about it and want them to remember that. But if I'm sending them information that they care about and I've tagged them in my contacts and I can separate out my fantasy football guys, create a quick email, and then send it to them, that keeps them thinking about me. And then as time goes on, they start clicking that, oh yeah, Jerry's the guy you got to talk to for real estate. So you can be able to do that. Excuse me. And that, in a nutshell, is the designs area. David, did I miss anything?
No, it's just one of those things. It's very hard as a new associate to kind of think of what you don't know. And while I guess the one thing I didn't show that you didn't jump on, or unless I missed it, was the custom templates of how to start something completely from scratch.
Yep.
But you can modify any of these to say what you want, right? You're not restricted inside of the box per se to use what's provided for you. It's just a jumping off point to make life easier for you to swap and quickly modify it. But if you literally want to start from scratch, as Jerry's kind of walking you through here now by hitting my designs, you have the ability to do that. So look, I'm doing something on here in the back end. That's why I wasn't as focused today. I apologize, Jerry. But you can just go in and say, hey, choose a pre-designed box, wide, square, portrait, bifold flyer, and then start adding your own elements, banners, images, photographs, text, anything you can think of, just like in Canva, and start from scratch. So everything's segmented: print, email, right? Social, makes your life easier, different categories, right? Branding, awareness, events, luxury, and then now completely starting from scratch. I guess the one other thing I would share is that remind you that on your homepage inside of Command, on your dashboard, one of those elements that are there for you are what's new in designs. So you can actually see all the new designs that KW is rolling out on a regular basis. Like yesterday was Flag Day. There were actually Flag Day stuff. You see new in designs, there's Father's Day, right? We've got the Proud events that are taking place. Right, Juneteenth is this weekend. There's all kinds of things that you can go into that KW is constantly rolling out that are available to you to use at your disposal.
Absolutely. And I think that, as we've said all along, that everything is self-contained within Command to be able to help you be able to build your business. The hardest part, as David just alluded to, is being able to stay at the front end. These are the things that I want to do for my business. This is how I'm going to brand myself. This is how I'm going to present myself. So taking the time now to be able to think about that and really getting a focus on what is it, how am I presenting my business, the look, the feel, where I'm presenting it, whether it's digital only, whether it's you're in social, you're doing print stuff, things like that all come into play, and you can do all of that within the one area. So I think that's pretty much everything on this end. Are there any questions? I don't know that we had anything in the chat. But are there any questions anybody had during the past hour? Yeah, Christy.
Yeah, I have a question. I think this was really helpful. It's a lot of information. I see that it's recorded. So do we have access to the recordings to watch it again?
Yep, that's a great question. If you, I can actually pull it up real quick and drop it in the chat. On YouTube, there's a Region 12 YouTube channel, and all of the classes are in there after they're recorded. So it'll be later today. They'll be on this YouTube channel. And so you guys can come back and watch this one. If you want something more exciting, you can watch somebody other than me do the presentations. But every class is there. And so you can be able to step by step, stop the video and do what you're trying to do and see it. And then Google, you can also Google other KW agents that are doing command stuff at a high level. Marty Miller, Jay Cermak, Nick Baldwin are names that you could Google and see like short snippets. This one for an hour going through is very good and in depth, but maybe you only need one little piece. And so you can always Google them and see if they have that one little piece about how to do this one thing that you're stuck with. I'd also say this, that your market center tech trainers are a valuable resource, and they're the first place that you should go to and say, hey, I have a question about this. If they don't know, then because we don't know everything, obviously, but if they don't know, they'll be able to reach out to other tech trainers or David, or check in, other groups that we're a part of to see if somebody has an answer.
Okay, that's great. One more quick question. I know
Sure.
it's time to go. Maybe I missed it, but are you able to set this up like ahead of time, like so if you wanted to set something up today for Juneteenth on Friday, can you set it up to time delay and then
as far as posting the posting the stuff? Yeah. And that actually, I didn't go over it because that's actually in the campaign section.
Okay. Okay.
But just as a real quick, I mean, we got 20 seconds here. I can show you. If you come into campaigns, you make sure, first step in settings, make sure that you're connected to your business Facebook page. And then from there, you can come into social posts, and on here, you can pick whatever date in the future. You can go this month, next month, wherever. You can come on here, click on the dates, and then you can add in your content and schedule it out for that date and time that you want it to go.
Okay. Oh, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. So that's definitely, but that's under social posts right here in the campaigns area. Any other questions? Awesome. I appreciate you guys joining. I hope it was useful, and I hope you guys use it to start lifting your business up and getting some leverage to yourself to show people what you're doing. So good luck tomorrow. David, remind me what tomorrow's class is.
So tomorrow is campaign. So basically we're going to build upon designs, right? The things that you created today, and show you how to not just advertise these types of designs, but also your listings, your open house, by choosing and selecting and featuring listings, right? And doing pay-per-click advertising inside of your business pages.
Awesome. So jump on tomorrow, learn about campaigns, a little bit more about the social posts and everything else you can do with them. And then keep going, keep seeing what it can do and how you can build your business with it. Good luck.
Thanks for coming, everybody. See you all tomorrow. And I'll probably have this recording posted to the channel by the end of today.
Awesome. Take care, guys.